What up? Of course, my face comes up first, so Sean always has to take my big fat face off.
Sean was in about 10 seconds before it was over.
I know, but we cannot.
Hey, we're late again, okay? We're late again.
Get going. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. All right, thanks everybody for watching. See y'all tomorrow. I mean, seriously, I'm Mastblast 09. To my left, to my right, wherever you see it, we got the Angstful Vapor. We got El Fubaka, and we got in his highest horse now higher than ever because he is a married man. Congratulations, understudy 77.
So, you know,
Mr. and Mrs. High Horse.
I was going to, a funny story about that, man. She was down here the other night, and she was sitting in the hangout with me. And somebody said, so do you prefer to be called Mrs. Understudy? And she said, no, actually, I prefer to be called Mrs. High Horse.
Nice. At least she's embraced it, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I thought she was pretty cool, so...
That's
Just-
amazing. Sorry,
So
I'm watching the little number counter at the bottom of the thing. It's to 28 viewers. Then it jumped to 60. Then it jumped to 68. So should we actually start this week with what we're vaping?
Yeah, exactly. Wait till my new segment to do it. I think we should.
Well, I am vaping this mod here that I'm going to talk about later, a K-Fall Raspberry Mint.
I was talking, motherfucker.
No, I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear you.
Shut up. I'm vaping on my Nemesis clone. It's a piece of shit. I don't endorse clones. With my Stellar clone that I also don't endorse. With my authentic
Chuff cap.
Dutch chuff top. If you want to put chuff in your mouth, this is where you start. We got that wrap to 0.24 with that raspberry. We got the Mass Mod Mini with the Odin on top with some creme de la crepe from Epicus Nebula.
What up, Josh?
Yep.
I also have my pedal, Hellfire, and some Epiclouds, courtesy of Grim Green. And because somebody said that we suck and we do nothing but blow pointless clouds, I have some Lab Rat liquids on my Zorro since I never use it anymore.
What a lame box mod, jeez.
Yeah, lame box mods, what can you do? What about you, Angsty?
I just rolled it. If you can see, my backdrop has changed. I'm in a hotel on the Vegas Strip at the moment. I literally just walked into the hangout about 10 minutes ago, and the only thing that I've got on me is my Rose and my Mass Mods Micro DNA with raspberry, and I haven't filled up. I've got another tank and got a K-Fun and another mod, but I haven't even had time to fill it up yet before the show started. I'm very late. Guess why? You want to guess why?
Guessing why?
The first reason is, and I do have a Hendrix and tonic here as well, which is helping a lot.
Boobs?
No. So we're almost here. I was supposed to be here an hour ago, and we're almost here. And the guy comes over the flight announcement thing. The pilot says, like they always say, we got some bad news, folks. It looks like Air Force One is in Vegas, and we have to circle around here for a while. So we circled around for like 45 minutes.
Obama wants to gamble.
Obama.
Thanks, Obama. Exactly. It's legitimate things, Obama.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
not
seriously.
deny the president's desire to gamble on occasion, all right?
I know he's here to play golf, I'm sure.
No, he went to go see Chuff.
Next, we're going to see Obama endorses the Chuff cap.
Right. So I'm actually going to walk right over there for just a minute and fill up my K-Fun. So, boo. You can go.
No, Fu went Masters up.
I go. I got my SX beater box with the toe batty and the magical chuffa cap on the top with him sitting inside. You guys see him in there? He's in there. He's watching you. You see him? He's in there.
He doesn't have eyes. That's creepy.
Yeah, it is. Actually, sometimes you get the droplets that land on there, and sometimes he has eyes. But
I do feel like we should set the record straight. We stole his logo, not the other way around.
Well, it wasn't intentional. We actually just took a contest entry, right?
Yeah, it was not intentional.
Yeah.
The contest entrant later admitted that he pretty much stole Chuff's logo to do ours.
Not the logo, just the idea, right?
The idea, yeah.
The idea.
See if we can get it to come up on
I
there.
don't look like Chuff.
Exactly.
Where the hell is it now? This thing's like magical. It just appears and appears. There it is.
Now that said, the way my beard's been looking lately, my little silhouette has to. I need some more beardage in there.
Fu needs a new silhouette.
Whoa, wrong button. So, anyways, and inside I have a little tweaked version that I tweaked of a sweet tea flavor that our good friend over at
Crescent Clouds?
Crescent City Clouds is doing. See, that's the problem when I have something in front of me that says something else, and then I'm looking, and I didn't know if I wanted to say his real name or his, real name to everybody else.
Christian Bale?
Yeah, Christian Bale. Yeah, so we'll just call him Christian Bale.
Yeah, I'm Mastblast 09.
Yeah, Christian Bale. So yeah, he's very close on this the quest for the sweet tea flavor. One of the stipulations was, it has to destroy electronics. So he's working on that. That might have been the tweak that I did to it. So
having it on your DNA, goodbye soldering.
Whoa. All filled up.
So moving along.
Moving along. All right. Now I've got Science of Vaping beta running on the KFI on my DZ.
Nice. So does that mean we're into the review portion of the show? By the way, we have changed the structure
Right?
of the show a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys will catch that later, or as we go. Fu, what do you got to talk about?
Are we doing news now?
Reviews.
Reviews first, then news later.
I guess I have a bit of a mini review. Yesterday at work, I got to vape on the Kanger Aerotank Turbo.
Mm.
For those who don't know, it is a Kanger Aerotank Mega with like human growth hormone.
There we go. It's up on the screen.
There's one key difference there that you may or may not be able to tell.
It is a 28 millimeter tank.
No, that's not the key difference.
Or 28 and a half. Yeah, you see it. It takes 2 coils. Here's the thing, and I guess this is what makes it the baller clearomizer, I suppose, is that the Aerotank coils are dual coils. So you're running 2 of those. So you're already dual coiling it. You're having the resistance, but you have 4 coils in a clearomizer.
So that means it's 0.4 ohms.
No. Total resistance of each is 1.8. So you throw it on I vaped it on a vapor shark.
0.8 ohm coils now.
Yeah, I think these are 0.8 ohm coils.
Those look like 0.8s.
Oh, they're
That's
1.8. There you go. No, but the thing is, it's not going to fire on any regulated device.
Yeah.
Maybe SX.
I just want to throw this out there for a second. That's clearly not what makes it baller. What makes it baller is that it says turbo.
We're going back to the 80s.
Radical.
I was expecting a button.
Cowabunga.
There's actually some really good things about this tank.
Here's the internals.
The airflow you can open up way the fuck out. I think I saw 6 small air holes or 8. I can hit it like a dripper.
What's the drag on it? I mean, is there any? Is it just a little bit?
It can get, like I said, I was able to hit it like a dripper. There's so much airflow. The flavor's great. You probably run it up to 24 watts. I vaped it up to 25 watts on a Vapor Shark. The thing is, though, I guess this is the bad. It vapes great, but the problem is that like Hanger Aerotank coils, like it's not the best flavor you can get, even though they've gotten so much better. Two, that's gonna get expensive.
Right. Totally.
Three, I don't know how much this thing is actually. I did my research. It's gigantic, so it looks awkward on like an RDNA. And I'm not really much for 28 millimeter mods, 26, 650 mods. So, as I sit looking at my out of commission Staff of Agamemnon,
Out of commission? What happened?
I killed the batteries in it, and I had been lazy to order replacements.
Right.
But anyway, it's cool, but I still don't think it's that quite there yet because I don't see it as being the most cost efficient setup.
Right. So if you're not rebuilding those coils, I mean, you're talking about $5 to $10 a week, kind
And
of.
you're killing your batteries pretty quick when you think about it.
Yeah. But
It's badass.
hell of vape, just expensive.
Yeah. And I guess when you get into that, man, when you look into rebuilding's a little bit cheaper to get a hell of vape. But if you got the money around, go for it, right?
How heavy is it?
It's pretty heavy.
Especially on top of a little thing like that.
Well, I see that they it looks like they've been saving some weight and kind of giving you a little bit of windows so you can see how much juice you got.
But the whole enclosure is pretty heavy. I mean, the weight distribution is good. It's just overall, it's just heavy.
Yeah. It's gonna be pretty big. I just try to imagine my Gigantor Tobe. And
Dude, look, it's a face. Look at the two windows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the grill.
I want to put it on the Vapor Shark, the little one.
The little vapor shark, yeah. You should.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
What else you got, Fu?
Reviews? I think that's it.
Actually, what do you got?
Well, as far as reviews go, very little. I think I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I should probably mention it. So, Cloud Science Beta was one that I picked up. It's one of the ones I liked out of Pantheon last time I was up there. But they've got a new one out called Gamma that sounds delicious. But this stuff's pretty decent, and it's nice and thick. It's got some good flavor to it. It's great out of a K-Fun. I'm sure it's great drip. I don't have one of those with me because flying and didn't feel like dicking with it. I do have a piece of news, but we can wait until the news section.
That it? That all you got?
That's all I got for reviews.
All right, I don't got much either, but that's nice. We're trying to jump this one quicker, right? Mm-hmm. So, as these guys said earlier, I got married Friday. Mast gave me this brilliant tip on a silicone wedding ring that I can actually stand having on my finger. I cannot speak highly enough of this thing. Very happy.
That's really strange to me. I mean, I saw Masties when I visited them. It was cool, but it's very weird. I mean, that's a very unusual sort of thing.
I quite like it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it not hot? Because I would think like the silicone would be kind of sweaty.
Not at all.
No more so than metal.
Yeah, metal conducts heat.
I'm not really I haven't had an issue with it yet, so it's comfortable. It's unobtrusive. I hate rings. I hate metal rings.
Yeah. It conducts heat unless you're Evolv, right? Then it does some sort of magical.
Yeah, well, it probably does that.
I see you there.
So I'm going to flip this box around last. I'm going to show the back before the front, because at the front's where the interesting shit happens.
So in case you can't tell, that's a zombie munching on.
Yep. And that's the Plumes of Hazard. And a face.
I love that button. That button looks so awesome.
I love the center button. Fuck you. You can't put a P9 in here.
You put P9 in anything. I'm switching my car to button start.
Yo, when Mast hopped the boat here, he had a P9 as the ignition. True story.
So I should probably apologize to the modder for this because he's probably going to get inquiries about it now. But I want to thank fucking DZ for doing the custom build for me. Because I like this center button style, and I love my A-mods, but, man, the aluminum gets a little... The bare aluminum, I'm not as crazy about the bare aluminum.
It gets a little...
Something... Huh?
It gets a little mungy.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted something that wasn't just bare aluminum that I could carry around and throw in my pocket and not worry about, and that's what kind of spawned this box, and I'm quite happy with it. It's an SX.
People are wanting for you to hold it up again. There you go. Yeah, your glare makes it kind of. There you go.
Joe user 12345 says Mass wants to stick his P9 in everything.
P9 for life.
P9 for life.
The other piece of interesting stuff that I have is I got 3 samples of Epiclouds, the Namber Juice Max VG line. I got Donut Pounder, I got Cartomator Crush, and I got Strawberry Circus.
P.S. As a slight aside, thanks a lot, Grim. Appreciate the sample set, buddy.
Hey, I tried to buy them from him, okay?
Where the fuck are my samples?
Exactly.
The brown dude, their chopped liver?
Hey, dude.
The other white guy didn't get any either.
The white guy didn't get one either, baby. So.
Fucking secret handshake bitches.
I just said, dude, I hit him up. I said, I want some stickers, and I got to make a juice order because I want to try your juice. He said, I'm going to send you juice. I said, I'll buy juice. He goes, no, I'm going to send you juice. I said, I'm going to get shit for this.
It's going to be some white comment or some shit.
And sure enough, I'm getting shit for it.
Hey, but your saving grace is at least the other white guy didn't get any.
True. So I'll be honest, and you know, this is no affront. I honestly thought I was going to hate them all. I don't much like Flavors by Joe, which is the company that produces them. I honestly thought I was going to hate all 3 flavors. But they're all pretty good. Donut Pounder is probably my least favorite. It's just a little bit too much cinnamon for me.
I love the just the name of that one.
Yeah, it's good. It's my least favorite of the 3, but it's still good. It's just a little bit too much cinnamon. Cartomator Crush and Strawberry Circus are both strawberry type vapes. I have Strawberry Circus in this K-Fun, and I have Cartomator Crush in the Hellfire. Honestly, I'm enjoying all 3 of them. They're all really good. They're pretty strong flavors. They taste pretty good. I like them a lot.
Sean, according to Lance, you also enjoy P-3N15.
Huh?
Chat. He says you like P-3N15. Is that like a chip or something?
I just read it.
I'm still catching up. I'm behind. That's all I got though.
Oh, he likes the Hammond BBK P-3N15. He likes his mods. He likes his mods in those type of boxes too. I can just see his face as soon as he catches up to it. Who's next?
Brian said he still has something, I think.
Yeah.
No, I was joking. I was like, I actually do have a review. I've got my my iPhone 6N, which is fantastic.
Currently not bent.
It's currently not bent. Thank goodness I got the non 6 Plus or whatever. It's great. I actually really like it. It has nothing to do with vaping.
Did you guys see the guy who got sent the prototype from Verizon, and it's up right now on eBay for $100,000?
What?
Yeah, he got sent a prototype iPhone by mistake, and it's got all this weird shit on it, and it's on eBay right now for $100,000. I'm like, oh! And apparently there's some FTC rule that says that if you get sent something in error and it's it's yours and all this other shit, I'm like, well, I'm surprised Apple hasn't knocked on his door yet. Helicopters and black
possession's not intense in the law, right?
Yeah. So anyways,
that's pretty weird, though, right? I mean, like, I can kind of understand that because the FCC, right? Instead of FDA, the FCC it's got a rating with it.
FTC.
Oh, FTC. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So it's got to do with something that if you receive something in the mail and it's an accident, and you received it for free, which he did. It's like you.
Oh, we got it for free.
Some shit. Yeah. So I don't know, but anyways.
You have anything, Nasty?
Not very related.
It's not so much a review as I would say. Because I did try it, or I didn't really try it. I just thought about trying it, and then imagine how it could go wrong. But I saw a post. It was probably last night or early this morning, where this person was talking about the new way to steep your juice. I'm like, oh great, I got to see what the hell this is. Well, this person has kids and they're always doing laundry, so what they're doing is they're taking their juice bottles, wrapping them in a sock, and throwing them in the dryer.
Oh no!
Right. So the first thing that I thought of is A, the dryer gets hot as shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Hot enough to leach the plastic.
And right, and B, something's going to happen to the plastic, and if we even throw all that out the door, what I wanted to try to prove was how long does it take for a bottle to have the cap come dislodged? Okay, this happens in the mail all the time. So I took my dryer.
Wait, did you ask your wife first?
Huh?
Did you ask your wife first?
No. Yeah, you never do that. No, wait. Come on now. We're scientific here in the 09's house. So I took the dryer and I just put it on air. No heat whatsoever. And I left the clothes that was in there, and I took one of my socks, and I actually took a juice bottle that I had with no juice in it, but I did put water in it, and basically closed it up and threw it in there, and I let it run for I don't know, about 15 minutes, I think it was, and I had a wet sock. So
that doesn't count because water's thinner than juice.
Well, right, but that's why I didn't have the heat on and none of that stuff. I wanted to see if
I'm joking.
Dislodge itself, and it was a bottle, like this, just the regular, not the safety cap or anything like that, and so I revisited the thread. And it's probably about 8-9 hours old now. And sure enough, the person who posted said, "Oh yeah, and also be careful because one of the caps came off one of my bottles." I'm like, why, people? And so there's people in there saying bad idea. Don't do this, guys. If you're trying to steep your juice, heat up some rice in a coffee mug and stick it in, stick the juice in there. Warm up some water and put the bottles in. If you really want to go crazy, take a crock pot and throw all your shit in the crock pot and let it cook all day.
Person fucking wait. Okay?
So I just got a message that iPhone got pulled down. Apple crucifixions.
Yo, we need to play some Kapuya for that. Yeah, I'm telling you, as soon as somebody saw that, I bet you they were on it. So. But yeah, so that's what I tried, because I just wanted to see time lapse of how long it would take for the caps to come off. Because I'm sure it's happened to all of us. In the mail, USPS, 2-3 days, and juice caps, mysteriously come off, and they're packaged and
that's not being twisted and tumbled and turned and whatever, right?
And it doesn't have your kids' clothes in there, and the heat, and and then I went back and read, and the person had like deformed plastic on the bottles. I'm like, no. Not a good idea. So, and of course, when the plastic deforms in the bottle, what the next thing is it's okay, I'll throw some glass bottles in there.
They won't deform. People are going to be sacrificing their firstborn to steep their juice.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but if you get some nasty shit in your dryer, it's going to be you're going to have a bad time getting it, because that plus the heat, crustified. So,
well, not to mention getting melty plastic shit on and around your juice. Even if it doesn't rupture, right?
Yeah, I don't want you have no control over that heat.
That shit is dumb.
It is. So, there you go.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Next week is Steam Monkey, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So, before we get into big news stuff, because I know Mass is just itching to talk about something. Contest for next week is a little bit interesting, but the prize is pretty fucking cool. If someone, and this is courtesy of Lance over at Steam Monkey, who's coming on next week, if someone makes a 30-second video of themselves in a bear costume with a sign that says "We'll Dance for Nanner Bear" on a busy street corner, so it's got to have traffic, then they win 1 liter of Nanner, Polar, or Cocoa. That's $500 of juice.
Oh my god,
And
dude.
he will do like he said. I think if I remember correctly, he said he's going to do like the top 3 people in bear costumes.
Yeah.
So that's $1,500 worth of
The
juice that he's
top
going to give
three
away.
win?
Yeah, like the top
Yo,
three
can I
people
enter?
are a leader.
Holy
Can
shit.
I enter, dude? I could totally
You
do that.
cannot
No,
share.
you can't enter. You take your shirt off and you're already in a bear costume. You can't do
Yeah.
that.
So you cannot share bear costumes.
Cheating.
That's the first thing. So if you go rent a bear costume, like a real bear costume, you can't share it with somebody else. They have to get their own costume.
Dude, that is insane.
And it's got to be like, I assume it's got to be a pretty decent costume. But it is for a leader of the number.
You can't print on a piece of paper and strap it to your head and just like.
So you have until next Monday afternoon to get the video to theplumesofhazard@gmail.com, and we will run them on the show tomorrow when Lance is here.
Dude,
Or next week when Lance is here.
You're gonna run the trap.
Did he run that by Walter? Walter's probably sitting there going, God
I'm
damn,
not sure if he ran that by Walter, but he told me this weeks ago, so I'm assuming.
I gotta make a whole leader this shit.
I see.
Him and Walter will vote for the top 3 next week.
I see. See, Lance is a smart guy. I see what he's doing. He's looking to hire someone to hold the sign outside their store, and he's using us to try to get 3 people that he can pick out of. Very smart.
Just ask Lance in the chat, and I'll ask him here on video too, in case he didn't catch it. We've already got people asking about international.
International. So we will get you details if international is okay.
We'll post it in our Facebook group or something.
But we will be running that until like next week-ish. Sunday or Monday. So get us some entries. I mean, I can't imagine that many people are going to do this. You got a pretty good chance at winning $500 worth of juice.
Hey, Ghost 8982. What about a pedo bear costume?
I support you, but that's not fully my decision.
It sounds like a bear.
Allow it.
It's a bear costume. I support it. But that also comes down to Lance and Walt. So contest being out of the way, that should be a fun one. Mass, do you want to start right into the big news?
Sure. Big news. DNA. Evolv's new DNA chip, DNA 40, DNA whatever the hell they're going to call it.
We need some
We'll
sound
put
effects for this shit, dude.
What?
What?
We need like
Sound effects?
a drum roll or something. Oh, he said if he can ship to the country, then yes.
So we good?
Yep. International is okay as long as he can ship to that country.
Tonight on Plumes of Hazard.
How about that for an intro?
Perfect.
So the DNA 40, the new DNA chip from Evolv, whatever they're going to call it. Let's just we'll put up the big stipulation flag above this the next few minutes that we're going to talk about this. Here's some of the things that we know, and these have not been verified by any one person. There are a few beta testers out there that have been testing the boards. You've seen the pictures. You might have seen some people with them in person, all this stuff. The board is I think it's going to have its pros and cons. And I think some of the cons, we'll go over first. It's going to be great. The board's going to, go up to, 40 watts. Supposedly, they're looking at anywhere between 20 and 25 amps. And it'll still be able to run on a single 18650 Sony VTC5, which is great. That's one of the worries that I had, especially with some of the mods that I build that not even an 350 will fit. About amperage limits and stuff like that. So that's good to know. So we'll be all over the place, not necessarily positives and negatives, but some of the things that I see. And let's say in the positive side is I think that they're going to be able to tell new users, hey, this is what vape's great at this level of temperature. Okay, set your coil at 300, set your coil at 400, 400 degrees, and forget it. As soon as you hit that button, you're going to be at 400 degrees, and you're all the way through your vape. You're going to have the most consistent vape that's available anywhere out there. And I think that's great. Taking variables and things out of people's um, so they don't have to worry about is I think has its place. On the flip side of that, so we'll hit each thing with the positive and the negative. I think there's an issue with bringing in a something else into the vaping game. You have people who are starting with twists, and they see the variable voltage, and they know where to set the voltage to taste, and they like that. Then they move up to, let's say, if something like a variable voltage, variable wattage device, and they say, okay, well, I can do the math, and at this wattage, this is where I like. And now you're going into temperature, which is brand new. No one has come out with this yet. So it's kind of cool that Evolv is taking the lead on this, which a lot of the times they usually do, and they've put a lot of time and money into this. And now you're adding another thing for the user to worry about. So positive side, it's great. They can not worry about everything else. Negative side, I think that this is going to be just something else for the person to be like, well, I'm not using my DNA device anymore. I put that down. I'm using my mech, or I'm using my SX board, or I'm using anything else. What do I set the temperature to? Okay, so if you have a person that doesn't know about the voltage, doesn't know about the wattage, where it's nice to have those fundamentals, right? A person who knows Ohm's law, and there's people that don't care; they just want to vape. To them that's great. But we have to remember that vaping's now been around for quite a few years, so you have people that have had the fundamentals of the wattage and the voltage and the ohms, and now you're going to hit them with temperature.
Isn't the problem more? Are we covering wires and stuff?
Yeah. So the next thing is you're gonna have. I don't think that the DNA board is only going to be temperature driven. Okay. You can use a DNA board. Hey, you wanna throw a Canthal build on there and run a 0.5, 0.6, 0.4, whatever ohm coil, and run it like a normal DNA and jack it up to 40 watts. Have at it. It'll work just fine. Now, this is the speculation part, because even though I have spoken with people that have said this, I am not going to use it as Evolv saying it. So we'll leave it at speculation. I have been told that the wire that is going to be used for having the feature of the temperature show up on your device is going to be a wire, quote unquote, named nickel wire or non-resistance wire. Okay, some of the pictures that you've seen, Vapor Joe's put them up. They've been on Reddit. You've seen builds that are at 0.06, 0.07 of a coil, and I kind of, was talking with other people and talking to the Plumes guys. I figured, and I can be wrong on this, and we'll find out this week. I thought that the reason they were running the ohms that low was for the device to be able to pick up on those variations, because the way that they're doing the temperature control is by noticing the variation of whether it's air or juice or anything moving over the coil, changing the resistance. The board reads that and keeps the wattage moving up and down to keep that temperature the same on that coil. Now, one of the things that they're claiming is no more dry hits. Okay, so you're going to be able to take a hit, and as soon as your coil starts going dry, it's going to sense that, and it's going to turn the power down, and you'll start to get kind of like, okay, I'm not getting any flavor, a small dry hit, to stop. Okay, and I think
That's been the big
great.
one, that you
And I
can't
think,
dry hit this.
Right, and I think that is great because that is going to be. Could you imagine to market that?
Right.
Imagine, we've all gotten those
Never
crazy
burn your
freaking,
cotton again.
yeah, we've all gotten those crazy ass dry hits, and you don't, yeah, man, how
Plus, you
awesome
can
it
do it
would
for like
The
be.
a big
problem is
lung
like a dry hit at like 20, 30, 40 watts isn't fucking terrible. The problem is if we had fucking technology that would stop you from dry hitting at 100 watts, I would really care about that.
Yeah,
Even
yeah, but
60,
but
you
still,
take a big deep lung hit off of even a 50 or
Yeah.
60 watt coil, dude, that's gonna. I've done it. It's awful.
Oh yeah.
I was there when you. I was there when you almost died. It was bad. It was
So-
bad. Angsty was like incapacitated for about 15 minutes.
Tears coming down my face, dude. It was so bad.
yeah. Now, I will say this: I don't have a board in my hands right now that I can tell you this is true. This is what they're claiming. Again, this is all speculation so far and hearsay because I did hear it from other people, and I have not seen it myself, or it's not coming directly from Evolv. And the reason I keep saying this and stating that is because either this week or later towards the end of this week, there's going to be a very informational video coming out about these things, and the release, should be around this week or at the end of this week, somewhere around there. Okay, and I always will state. Things can change and will change. We all know this, for example, with Yeehee. They change their mind every day. That should be the slogan. Yeehee, we change our mind every day. But anyways, things can still change. I think it's great of Evolv to have gone out to the community and reached out to people and said, "What do you guys think?" So they get some real good feedback from this. One of the concerns that I had, which I've been told is not really a concern, and we'll find out about it, is you have your dripper that you have your 0.06 ohm coil built, and it's doing great on your DNA. You take it off, you put something else in your DNA, you're vaping, you grab that dripper and you put it on the mech, and you forget that it's down at 0.06, and you hit that mech, with a battery that's not rated for it. What's going to happen? I was told that there really shouldn't be an issue because of the wire that's in it and what you've built. So that'll be something. I know it doesn't
make sense to me at all. If you put
Yeah.
non-res wire, that's basically a hard short to me.
Yeah, and again, the wire might be resistance wire. Okay,
Yeah.
we don't know for sure on all that yet. So this is still all speculation. There's a lot of things that I'm hoping that I'm wrong on.
I hope so too, man. Because let's be honest, I have a multitude of OKR, Raptor, SX, and DNA mods.
Mhm.
I got to build with a different wire type, and I got to build at a different resistance. Then I completely lose my ability to hot swap, which I do all the time.
Right.
It's like
And
why
I think-
reinventing the wheel.
Well, I think that it's going to be pitched as here's your DNA board. It goes up to 40 watts, and if you want this cool feature, you can build this coil
Right.
to set your to use the board as a measuring temperature. So I don't, there's a lot of people calling it a gimmick, and I don't really want to call it a gimmick because I think it should be called an extra feature. That's kind of like saying, when Yeehee said, "Oh, you want buttons instead of the stupid tilt," well, that's a gimmick. No,
Well, let's be honest,
an extra
wattage
feature.
is a gimmick too.
Correct.
It's completely unnecessary.
I don't know
So-
if I'd call wattage a gimmick. Though wattage is a pretty useful feature, and it's useful across even it's useful
But
for heroes, and it's
It
useful.
could be just as useful.
Yeah.
But not if I don't know. Not if it does require a special coil.
Then
I don't know if it is as useful.
not
Yeah,
as-
that's the thing. It's like it's like learning a new system of measure. The way it sounds to me right now.
See, I think that what at first what I thought was, I can't believe that they're trying to push this out there as the new DNA board is going to be controlled by temperature. Done. Instead of, now that I see is here's your new DNA board. These are the things that it can do, and if you want to control everything by temperature, you can. You can just build it this way and use that feature. Okay, and that makes sense.
If you got a specific adder for it, right? I mean,
Correct.
And I'm sure, honestly, I'm sure next week, and I know Lance has some scoop. Not that we've been able to get anything at all out of fucking Lance about the DNA chip, but I know he has some scoop about it. So I know next week we should have full details, and we'll have Lance to talk more about it. Probably.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they've released the NDA stuff, right?
Yeah, as long. Well, that's why I said he hasn't said shit.
Yeah.
I've tried. Trust me, I've tried, but I got
So
nothing from him.
so basically, I think that I like that they're still going to be you're still going to be able to use a single battery to power them, because let's face it, the nice thing about the DNA board is how small it is, how in small tight spaces you can put it. So now if you have to run two batteries, yeah, exactly, if you have to run two 18650s, holy cow, and I think that's definitely a plus. Here's one thing that I've been noticing that I think is good on the timing on Evolv's part. I know a lot of people like to shit on them because they took forever to deliver a lot of the boards, or they were too busy doing shit with Anoken, all this stuff. I've been noticing the trend of let's see whose dick is bigger, wattage wise. Okay, so we went, for the longest time we were 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Then the 120 watt came out, chips, and now you're going to 150. Now you have the God Mod 180, and you had the B spot. So what we're seeing is in the mass produced, let's say China devices, they said, well, all we're going to worry about is this, let's pump power to it. So, you started seeing the 50 watt IPVs, and you started seeing the Sigelis, and then you started seeing the 100 watt, and now you're this God 180 mod, 180 watt, so I think that, before it was more specific, like the Beast Box and all these other ones at 200 watts, reason why I built, this Gigantron, to do 350, 400 watts, just to prove a point that, it gets so much. And I kind of like that Evolv's come in and saying, look, you can have a good vape, a flavorful vape, all the way across the board, and you don't have to have that crazy wattage.
At the same time, though, if they can do it, why the fuck not, man? Because
correct.
People vape different ways. Everybody likes to vape differently.
Yep.
And I'm a guy who vapes pretty consistently at like 17 watts.
Yeah.
But still, if somebody wants to vape at 100 watts, fucking let them vape at 100 watts?
And I think we're still going to see, not to stray too much about the DNA, the new DNA board itself, but I think we have seen plenty of issues with the mods from overseas being trying to push more power via an upgrade or anything like that. I mean, he was one of them. They said they were going to go to 80 watts, and they freaked out with size of gauge of wire and all that other stuff. So the what was it, the Cloudpore, the T5, the update where it started melting itself.
Yep.
We've seen a lot of those issues, and I think that for that special, for that part of the market that still loves their DNAs. I mean, I know people that still will take a DNA 20 no problem. So I think, I don't want to call it a gimmick with the whole temperature thing, but I think that it has its plus and minuses, and I'm hoping that it's going to be interesting to see how the market reacts to it, because you go to a meet, everybody's got Canthal. You pop a coil, something happens.
We're down in low wattage devices, or in lower wattage devices. We're down. Look at the fucking iStick, man.
Yeah.
$36 for 20 watts.
Yeah.
We are in a very
fragile though. It's kind of fragile though.
Yeah, but we're in a very competitively priced, decent watt market.
Oh, totally.
How much impact is this thing going to have in comparison to other things in this price class? On top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that also the board is going to feature and I'm going to talk about this because I don't have one, and I don't necessarily I'm not going to get in trouble by saying some of these things, but the mounting of the new boards, there's going to be. I know there was a big issue with the DNA 30. How to mount them in different things, and there was only so many ways you could do that. So there's going to be a little bit different ways of doing that with this new board. And I don't know about screen placement or screen removal. I know that is something that was talked about, being able to have a modular screen so you can, just plug into it. But, you start getting into that, you start getting into the plug on the board and adding size and all that versus, a ribbon cable that's on there. Because let's face it, if you're building mods with DNAs, you know that ribbon cable is a bitch, and you can easily cut it or bend it or anything like that. So overall, it's been a positive review from the people that have had it and that are using it. I don't know about it being a game changer with the temperature. I don't think we should put so much emphasis on that instead of saying, hey, it's a new DNA board, this is something new, and it has this feature. So.
And I'm interested to hear more.
Yeah, exactly. So.
I mean, somebody did ask, did you get any information on reverse polarity protection and or if it can buck voltages?
If I remember correctly, it can do buck and boost on the board.
Really?
Yes, and I don't know about reverse polarity protection. Reverse polarity protection is something tricky because something that we noticed on doing some testing, a few other modders with the SX chips, for example, is you don't get the same kind of power to the board when you're running it through the reverse polarity side, and there is sometimes a small draw of power by going that way. I think the resistance goes up a little bit. I know Yeehee has separate specs for when you run it reverse polarity versus normal. I don't know about the DNA having the reverse polarity. That would be something good if somebody knows about.
I think isn't that something? I think something Phil has.
I think it's something he said.
He's mentioned this because of the battery monitoring too. Not only the internal resistance, but the battery monitoring.
Yeah, and which is, I will go out on a limb here and say I think that the new boards are going to be more efficient. Because if you've seen them in person, you will see that as you're vaping, it's constantly changing that wattage up and down to compensate. Where you could be in a scenario where you're at 30 watts and you're 30 watts and you're wasting some of that in heat that as you're vaping that might not necessarily be used.
Yeah.
So, which is even better. Those are things that we want, right? We want something that's more efficient. We want something that, it's going to give you a great battery life, especially if you only have a single battery. Something that's going to give you a good vape. So
I am just going to throw this out there because we've talked about the inefficiency on the SX350 a little bit for battery life. On a lower watt setting, it's a fucking champ. I've been running this SX at 17 watts, and this is 2400 mAh. It's a fucking champ. I'm getting more than a day out of it.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there, too.
But you ramp it up to 50, and it's...
Well, you ramp anything up to 50, and you're killing a battery on 2400 mAh. That's just 50 watts.
Well, homie over at Dog Mods, he had an observation, because the first boxes he made were dual 18650 boxes. The efficiency was not the greatest until he started messing around with lipo boxes, and much greater efficiency.
I should also say this is 2 lipos.
I love as someone who drinks and vapes, I want reverse polarity protection.
But it seems that the chip works better with a lipo cell than.
Lipos are usually higher drain, higher volt, or a much higher amp load can run through.
Sure.
So they tend not to push as hard, so you tend to get a little bit better life out of them because you're never even coming close to that battery's limit.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've found.
Yeah. So there you have it. Take it for what it is. We'll see this week, what the outcome is of the new board being released. I am going to try to have one for the show next week, if I can. If not, it'll be in 2 weeks, and we'll bring it up in tech time and play around with it and see what we can do. See if we can blow it up.
Absolutely.
But that's
So,
about it on that.
is that it for that chat? Any final comments?
Are we going into the news now, or?
Oh, this technically is the news.
Okay, because there was some other stuff that we talked about earlier.
There's a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if you put up.
The next topic I wanted to do was e-cig related bills and litigation and stuff coming up in the near future.
Okay.
The first one is yours because that's right in your backyard.
Yep. The Daily News published an article today. Normally I don't read the Daily News. Understudy sent it to me later in the day, but one of my coworkers had shown it to me this morning, and was it this morning? No, it was this afternoon. Anyway, there was a bill already that was proposed in the state assembly to ban e-liquid altogether, the sale of e-liquid altogether.
Any flavored, yeah?
No. This was just all e-liquid. That was the first one. That one got scrapped. I don't think it made it to the floor. Now, in the city, I believe, is just aiming to ban flavored liquids. So pretty much like they did with like regular cigarettes. Yeah, what the fuck, city?
Yeah. These flavors are direct marketing to children. They appeal to children.
Yeah, it's the textbook all about the children bullshit. But I'm keeping pretty cool about it. Like I was super cool throughout the one that was proposed in the assembly because it was just a very, very blatant overstep that you knew wasn't going to happen. What worries me about this, just in the back of my mind, is it's in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want something, they'll get it.
Yeah. Well, they also can play specifically the child card in this one.
Well, yeah, this is the same guy too, right?
Yeah, it's
the same Constantinides. Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, he's introducing the legislation, so it's only starting to be.
It's being introduced tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, it'll probably make its way somewhere. I don't think it's going to get rejected tomorrow. But yeah, so there's this mentality of banning it and not even bother researching it, right? Because let's be honest, cigarettes were legal for fucking how many years, and they proved to have harmful side effects and all of that, and kill people, and we could still buy them.
No, dude, I'll be honest. What I'm really, really sick of is hearing the for the children flavors thing. Look around at everything. There is flavored vodka. There's flavored alcohol of every type. You can't sit here and tell me that adults don't like fucking flavors. Like, I'm really sick of that.
That's where the whole fucking tax thing comes into the equation. It's like, if e-cigs were like, if our liquids were regulated and taxed, they wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah. That'll probably come in time too. I'm sick of that argument.
Yeah, no, it's obnoxious. Down to literally cotton candy flavored vodkas and mixed drinks and little
bans don't get reversed, man.
What?
Bans don't get reversed.
No, it's very hard for a ban to get reversed.
No, anytime you give the government too much power, right? It never goes down. It always goes up.
Yep.
Oh.
Piece number 2, speaking of bans, is there's a petition going around right now for our friends in Canada.
I should probably post that article in chat.
I did already.
Oh.
Where was it?
Alberta, Canada.
Lasty?
I'm waiting.
You guys, so mean. Fuck Canada!
There it is.
So there's a petition going around that they're apparently trying to completely ban e-cigarettes in Alberta, Canada. So I'm going to share that. Go sign that petition.
You know who's also from Alberta, Canada?
186 signatures out of 10,000 that are needed. So please go sign that petition.
Wow.
And spread the petition around and get more people to sign it. Because again, like we said the other week with Australia, what happens in Canada will indefinitely affect the United States. It will likely affect the EU. I mean,
Really, we don't have
affect
socialized
all this
healthcare
stuff.
yet. Goddamn.
And then there's another one in my backyard. Baltimore, Maryland, tomorrow morning is doing a hearing for an indoor use ban at 9:30 a.m. before the Judiciary and Legislative Investigations. It's in DuBurn's Council Chamber, 4th floor, City Hall in Baltimore.
That kind of business drives me crazy. Like, anybody's got time to like take a vacation day to go down and hang out at the however long it's going to take at City Hall to hear that thing, to make comments, to defend this thing. It's so frustrating.
What, people going to do it?
No, these guys that are, well, depending on how deep in the conspiracy you want to go, are pushing forward this legislation, and the only way to stop it would be people coming down and talking against it. But in order to do that, these working
You pretty
people
much have to take a day off work.
you pretty much have to take a day off work, which is
So-
to some people impossible.
Yeah. If anybody can, though, I urge you to go down there tomorrow morning at 9:30. I urge anybody who goes to one of these things to dress nicely. Look presentable.
Don't blow fucking
And
clouds.
I urge you to not roll fucking clouds inside.
Do not vape during the fucking hearing, please. Don't.
Be respectful. Be a good representative of the vaping
The
community.
ball is not in our court.
And say your piece. Go down there, say your piece. If you can. I know we're probably short a couple viewers because one of the shops around here is doing something up there. One of our shops is doing a pre-hearing kind of meet thing to go over strategy for it, which is awesome. That's Vapor's Edge here in Maryland that's doing that. I don't know if they're still going on, but if they are, I urge people to go check it out.
Good on them.
Yeah, a guy actually asked, hey, how do I go to Vapor's Edge and still watch Plumes of Hazard? I said, watch the fucking replay and worry about this first.
Yeah.
But, definitely some major stuff coming up in bills that I'm sure we will continue to follow.
Did you get the link for the toddler who?
I have the link, yeah.
Okay.
I'll share it in chat if you would like. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. Yeah. So this link's basically covering a story. I think it was in Seattle or something like that, where little kid goes and grabs a 15 ml bottle, supposedly, of juice, drinks half of it, and quote unquote OD'd on the juice. Now, here's the problem that I have with this is, if you watch the video and read the story, it goes through and it covers everything that you can except for, where the fuck are her parents?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's what they always skip in these videos.
No, and that's the thing, and it's a shitty thing to say, okay, because I of all people know that it takes literally 1.2 milliseconds for a kid to get into some shit, okay, when you're not watching them. But, they say the father had always taken care to make sure that the liquids were not in his daughter's, presence or whatever it was. Okay?
Right.
And it doesn't cover how can a kid sit there, get the bottle, take the bottle, open it, and then proceed to drink half of it. We all know how hard these bottles are to squeeze.
You must have gotten to the steeping stash.
Now, first off, I am pro childproof caps.
Yeah.
But number two, clearly the father did not always take care to keep his liquids out of reach of his daughter because his daughter got into his liquids.
Correct. So either one of two things happened. She had an hour to sit there and freaking suck on this bottle, okay, to get half the juice out, or B, the actual dripper top popped out, which I'm surprised she didn't choke on, and was able to drink half the bottle. But the mom says, oh yeah, she came and she was just like, her arms were just not, hanging there, not doing anything. I'm like, seriously, like, that a little bit, and then they go on to say, oh, our poison control centers have had a over 700%
Right.
increase in calls because of this, and I believe it. I believe it because people are leaving this shit around where their kids or their dogs or anything else can get into, and people are getting into it. So, just more ammunition for.
Yep.
Stop being a
Now,
fucking.
I'll tell you, my desk is strewn with e-liquid right now. Absolutely strewn with e-liquid.
And how many kids you got running around your house?
I have 0 children.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And even with the dogs, if something falls to the ground, I don't say I'll pick it up later. No, I pick it up now. Whether it's Canthol, whether it's a piece of paper that's got juice on it, whether it's anything. And yeah, most of my juice is zero nic juice, but I don't give a shit. I don't want anyone picking that up and putting it in their mouth and eating it or whatever it can be.
I'm actually going to have some kids over the house in a couple weeks. My niece and nephew are coming over. I'm not even going to be vaping in front of them, so if they ever are like around my desk, like how the fuck am I going to explain that?
And and I know people who have kids and they do their own DIY and they have it behind 2 locks and keys because they're so worried about their kids being inquisitive and saying, "Oh, what is this? It smells good. Let me taste it." So I would hope that obviously in these stores they would cover that a little bit better, but
There are a lot of chemicals in your home that will kill, and faster than needs use, by the way,
yeah.
a kid or a dog. Or a
Chat
cat.
just said these people wouldn't leave bleach out for their kids to drink.
I don't know, man. I've been huffing Clorox for years, and they seem to be okay.
But and almost any household cleaner will kill a kid.
Yeah.
Will.
Dude, we call this
Like this, and you don't fucking leave your cigarettes sitting out for your kids to grab. Typically,
If any of the viewers have, I guess, taken any classes in college or high school about media framing and scoping and all that, and it's just typical like news channel bullshit. Of they just look it through, that little narrow little scope, focusing on specific things, focusing rather on the product being the problem.
Tonight at 11, e-cigs killing children.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's pretty much what it was,
Yeah, it's like this. It's a same thing with when they wanted to, legalize opium and marijuana, and it was a those campaigns were far more brash and yeah.
Yeah, it was written, toddler overdoses on e-cigarette liquid.
I guess I have such a hard time coming to terms with the fact that we now live in a society where they will ban something for everybody because a small portion of parents aren't responsible enough to watch their own fucking kids.
Yep. And then nobody will hear the other part. They'll just hear kids overdose and bad
We
e-liquid.
can't have this in the house. Fuck, I don't care. Goddamn, go get some fucking like Mr. fucking Clean or toxic stickers or whatever and put them on your goddamn bottles. God damn it. We had those when I was a kid. Those fucking stickers you put on toxic shit.
Well, and so then think about this. Okay, so we get all the childproof caps out there. Great. Now what? Are you still going to leave your kid with the frickin' childproof bottle to play around with for half an hour to see if they can open it?
Absolutely not.
No, so don't rely on the childproof cap to.
No, but I do think it's a good idea to have them.
Oh, it is. It's a very good idea. Yes, but let's not. Put so much reliance on it that people are like, oh, they're childproof.
Like, let's be honest for a second. Like this bottle, that's not great. That's not ideal.
Nope.
Because that fucking comes right off, and that's an open fucking spout.
Yeah.
I've got my
something
stuff on a 6-foot-tall shelf, and the rest of it is literally under lock and key. The stuff that they could get at.
Yeah.
That's just what you got to do.
I mean,
it's common sense.
I think Anksty's the one that has kids out of the 4 of us, but I'm gonna teach my kid how to put my batteries in the microwave for me. So.
I'm gonna teach mine how to boil the batteries.
So we also skipped. We have some litigation news in the UK too.
Yep. We got the news today that Totally Wicked has won the right to formally challenge the EU on their tobacco products directive. And basically, this has been going on for some time now. They basically are also, they have a few vendors and stuff like that over there, and they have been the only one to be able to be allowed. I guess you even have to be, picked to be allowed to challenge the validity of the EU Tobacco Products Directive. They call it the TPD in a court of justice.
Oh, apparently that's older news, by the way, not new news. We were just informed of this.
Oh, really?
2000 and late.
Huh.
We're
Well,
late. It happened.
I saw their press statement. That came out today or yesterday. So I mean, I know that it's been going on since 2012, but just recently they were able to do this. I mean, it says the 6th of October, 2014, for the press release. So news to me. But anyways, so I guess
somebody on YouTube also asked how much e-juice you would have to drink to kill yourself, and that ultimately depends on size, body weight, and nicotine concentration.
Yeah.
So I don't have an exact number
I'd
for
say
you.
about 350.
And I don't think that's something we can tech time.
A part of basically the managing director said today marks an important step in our legal challenge. Article 20 of the TPD would result in electronic cigarettes being subjected to a stricter regime than some tobacco products. Not only is this article therefore disappropriate, we believe it is also contrary to established EU law. It is therefore vitally important that the UK court has decided that the CJEU should make a ruling on the lawfulness on Article 20. So basically, they're gonna get in there and try to fight this. So, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Whether
I
it's old
have
news
no
or not.
idea what Totally Wicked even sells at this point. I do know that I got my first ever kit from them.
Yeah, a lot of people have. They're saying, "Oh, I got my first kit from them," or first time I bought juice or anything like that. So.
Well, the guy who got me into vaping was a reseller for them. Oddly enough, he's also the guy who was my officiant at my wedding.
Yeah.
But he used to resell for them, and that's who he used. So I got my first e-cig from those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So
I want to skip one and go right to charging through the 510. Mark Tanner on YouTube asked about your thoughts on charging through the 510 mast.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm not gonna go out and say it's gonna be impossible to do. But the problem with this is it's something that we're kind of seeing now, where you have Yeehee, for example, with their new board having to do balancing because they're having to use above 8 volts. Right. So now they're switching from having a USB charger to an actual DC jack. So now we've gone from pretty much everyone that has either DNA board or an SX board or anything like that also has a phone that has a micro USB that they can use to charge. Well, now if you start saying we're going to use 510 to charge, now you either A, have to build an adapter, or B, build a charger that you could plug into and screw into your 510. I don't think that that's going to be very viable for people because of the circuitry that would have to go in your device to be able to charge the batteries coming in through the 510. So it's not really, like you say, an ego. What you're charging, directly the battery through that 510 is just, the battery itself, and it has the circuitry built in that allows it to do that. I don't think it's something that a lot of people are looking for as far as
it kills pass-through vaping, which is a big deal right now.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I kind of see, when you went from the micro USB, from the mini USB that looks like, this guy there, to the micro USB, which is a smaller one, you lost some of the amperage levels that you could push out through some of these. So there's different amperage ratings for the bigger plug than the smaller one, and I think that going to a DC jack is going to be nice and it's going to help, but you're going to have different size DC jacks, and so I think it's is it possible? I'm sure it is. I mean, we charge egos like that, but that's about it. I don't know how complex it would be to build something in line or in a circuit that can basically charge your batteries that way. So, and like Sean said, that would put out a lot of the pass-through vaping that a lot of these devices can do. So
We're just swapping batteries. I mean, when you got to charge through the 510, you no longer have any ability to use your mod.
correct. Yep, you basically have to set it down and forget it.
So on to this one, and I know probably none of us really want to talk about it too much, but it was a huge contention point from last week. Huge contention point from last week's show, so I thought it would kind of be somewhat fitting to bring up again. The clones versus counterfeit thing.
Oh dear.
I want to start this by just saying we don't tell you what is right or what is wrong. We all have our own views. Sometimes we will say them, but we report on things that are relevant in the industry. And let's be honest for a second. Clones and counterfeits at this time in the e-cig market are still relevant in the industry. Yeah. Therefore, we report on them. Last week we talked about them specifically because there were mod makers going after reviewers who were posting links to clones. Vapor Joe did a big thing on it. They're trying to shut down his forum that has links to clones. Yeah. We talked about that because it's relevant. We never said we supported it. Some of us probably do, some of us probably don't. That's up to us if we want to share that. But we do talk about things that are relevant.
Right. Yeah, and just because, for example, I wasn't able to get a authentic Big Dripper clone to do a review on it. So when I did my review of the Big Dripper, I called it a clone. I didn't call it the original Big Dripper. I had issues with it, not performing as good as I wanted it to. And hey, guess what? That might be because it's a clone, and that's something that I think if we sit here and not talk about the clones and leave all of that to the side and only do authentics, I think we're doing a disservice to our viewers, because if there's something wrong with the clone, you should know about it. Mm-hmm. So you don't go out and spend, even if it's only $5, $10, $15, $20, you don't go out and spend $20 on a clone that's going to be a piece of crap, and you're going to be like, well, I should have just saved the $20 and waited to get, a real one.
And it is a relevant and large market segment right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we talk about things that are relevant market segments. We talk about things that people are using.
We talk about everything.
And bear in mind, you got to bear in mind, one of the consistent things that we've been doing week in and week out for the past 6 or 7 shows, culminating in next week when we have Lance on from Steam Monkey, is we've been talking about inexpensive, authentic mechanical mods and inexpensive mods that you can buy on a budget. So it's hard to sit here and say that we're huge clone supporters when we're telling a bunch of people, hey, here's an authentic that you can get that won't break your bank. Or, hey, here's the new authentic that come out. We're just covering shit that's going on in vaping.
Definitely don't support clones.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, we're always going to keep our viewers informed. If we're talking about clones in an episode, and, you don't like to hear it, just don't watch that episode, if you start hearing about it. One thing that I think we do need to set straight is, I don't want to speak for the rest of the guys, but I'm a firm proponent, and I've said it before in the shows, that I do not agree with shops passing devices as authentics by calling them devices and not calling them what they are, a clone or a copy or a one-to-one or whatever it is. Okay, and there's a big issue going on right now with a shop that I'm not going to name, selling chuff tops, clone chuff tops, as authentic, real chuff tops.
We already named it on Instagram. I reposted that.
Right. Not like chuff tops, but the chuff tops that they're selling. And they're selling them for $20. Okay? So that makes it even more confusing, because that's very close to the price that Chuff is selling his at.
Well, what's even more confusing than that is it's a legitimate modder making these caps,
and
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 they're
and
calling
that
them chuff
is
caps.
and that is that's something that, for example, I would never get one of those caps in to review, because that is, shady, as far in my book as you can get. You know, if we have people who have asked about, um, you know. I know some people asked me about the orchid. I got an orchid that was a clone that came in. I didn't really like it. It leaked building it. Some people have great, reviews for them. But one of those things could be, hey, it's a clone, so the tolerances aren't as close as the original, stuff like that.
I also
So,
want to say that we're speaking of counterfeits as well while we talk in this conversation. So there's
correct.
no confusion. We're talking about clones and counterfeits because clone and counterfeit, the actual names go hand in hand, but in vaping they mean different things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sort of. The one related to the devices thing. There's a chain in DFW area that has K funds listed, full size lights and that kind of thing. It says Sfomesto K funds, and then buried inside the paragraph long description, right in the middle, is something about H cigar. But
Yep.
that is the only reference to anything in there, and that
And
is backed up.
there was a shop here that did the same thing, and I actually called up the shop and I kind of bitched about it. I said, look, I really strongly disagree with the fact that you're saying like Chi-Yu, and then in the paragraph you're saying H cigar. You're not saying Chi-Yu clone or Chi-Yu say counterfeit. I don't give a fuck what you say. It doesn't change the fact that they're going to be sold and that people are going to buy them, at least the way that the market is right now.
Correct.
Because
Yeah.
a year and a half ago, these things didn't exist. These things exist because people are buying them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
China
Yeah,
wouldn't be making them if they weren't. And people keep talking about logos. I just want to say that most of the logos are from somewhere else anyway. I mean, the GU logo is not made by Mojo. It's from somewhere else. A lot of these logos are from something else. As
yeah.
much as I love no logo clones, the logos
Here's
aren't exactly original either.
here's the biggest issue with the clones versus authentic that you're always going to see. Okay, assholes,
Yeah.
opinions. Everybody's got them. Okay, here's why. Because your definition of a clone and an authentic is going to be different from mine. It's going to be different from Foo's. It's going to be different from Angsty. It's going to be different from everybody that's in the chat. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you might believe that it with a logo is bad. It without a logo is not bad. Another person can believe the opposite. A counterfeit is this in your book versus this person is that. So you're going to have a myriad of different opinions, and that's what's great. Everybody can have them. You don't like them, don't buy them, don't support them. Have at it.
Yep.
But don't chastise a group of people, or
Don't chastise the person.
right, or
The
the
vapor.
person, or the show, or something like that. That is, not necessarily doing a hey, look, buy this review. That's another difference. Is we don't care if you go out and buy it or not. We're doing the review because we've been asked, hey, can you guys look at this and tell us, what you think about it. And there are reviewers out there that all they do is, this is great, this is great, this is great, this is great, and there's no negatives about it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I've used my money to buy the device, and if it sucks, I'm gonna tell you. If it doesn't, I'm gonna tell you. That's all there is to it.
And I mean, 2 points to drive home to. There are shops that specialize in copying juice, cloning juice. You bring me a juice, I will make you a copy of it, and I will sell it to you. That's the same motherfucking thing. But you don't hear problems with that all the time. You don't hear people flipping out about that all the time. And
Well, because the juice market's so
there are but the mod market's overpriced too.
No, I'm not saying overpriced. I said oversaturated.
Oh, yeah, well, the mod market's...
There are too many juice vendors to give a fuck about.
But, and two, there's so many things that I see coming out. I was talking to somebody who doesn't really vape that much the other day. Or, well, who isn't, I shouldn't say doesn't vape much, who isn't really involved in the high-end market. And I showed him a picture of a Stickman, of a Carlos Creation Zero, and of a Wapari. I said, hey, here's 3 mods. He goes, what the fuck, those are all the same. Those are the same damn thing. That's cool. That's completely acceptable. One's $400, one's $500, and one's $700. That's completely acceptable. Why is that okay? That's just my outlook on that one, and I'm cool with it. I don't care. It's you're grabbing a design that you like and you're making your own version of it.
Yeah,
That's
and
fine.
my thing too to if they're here in the U.S. Okay, because we know we have to set some boundaries too. There's a difference between people making clones and copies here in the U.S. of U.S. made stuff,
Yeah,
and then China.
Well, what's
Okay.
interesting is we tend to not care if the U.S. makes a copy. We tend to only care if China makes the copy.
Well, what I was gonna say is, there's it's going to be really hard to go up against them, right? So what are a lot of people doing is they're going after the shops here, they're going after reviewers here, they're going after all that stuff, okay? And that's fine. People are going to do what they're going to do when they have a lot of money. But I think that, man, if we just spent a little bit of that money and a little bit of that time spent, whether it's a yes to clones or a no to clones, into time with vaping militia, or time with charities, or times with educating yourself about things that are going on in your state,
Or educating other people,
or educating other people.
working to build a unified society of vapors fighting against something that's much, much worse for all of
it
us
would
than
it
clones or
would
authentic.
be it would be a big help.
Yeah.
And I know people don't want to hear that, man. People don't want to hear, support this group and support that group and keep an eye out on everything that's going on, because, it's always the same mentality. Well, it's not affecting me right now.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't care.
There are much bigger things than clones versus authentics right now.
And let's go as far as, man, people have gotten into fist fights
Oh
because
yeah.
of this shit. So it can get pretty heated.
I'm cool with letting it go there. I just felt that we should say something since that tended to be a contention point last week.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think people also have to realize, uh, we're reaching out to a lot of people
Yep.
with our show to inform them of things, and I think that once you start segregating a lot of that stuff, we do a disservice to our viewers. So
We're trying to be all things to many people.
yeah.
So
Can't
does
please
that
everyone.
kind of bleed into the other comment that we got? Is
So
that
I'm gonna let you cover that specific comment, Angsty, because I know you're dying too.
No, I do want to say something about it because it's ridiculous, but I don't know. I don't even know how we want to approach it. We're not going to read the whole thing, right?
No, but so we got a comment on our channel, kind of along the same lines, but not quite.
From a viewer.
Yeah, from a viewer. And I completely respect this viewer's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But his opinion was essentially that we are all vaping wrong because we vape too much at too high of a wattage with too low of nicotine, and we're terrible representations of the vaping world.
And proper.
Vaping is not a box mod with 3 nic and clouds. Vaping is an elegant tube mod with 36 milligram nicotine.
Hey, fuck off.
Now, first off, all the people who are watching and who are going to watch this show, they see us vape on the show. None of you know how I vape in real life. None of you know how any of us vape in real life. I vape a lot more sitting here talking to everybody who watches the show than I do when I hit stop. Secondly, it doesn't really matter if I vape more or less. I vape the way I like to. Somebody else pick it up. Come on, you're going to mute me.
No, just one's good. Just one.
It wasn't for any other reason. He just wanted to say. Booyah. No, I think the idea of vaping wrong is preposterous, personally, because and the thing that I don't understand about the comment is, you even mentioned it, the whole point, what most of us are doing is to either get off of smoking cigarettes or have a less harmful alternative. Or some people just like to vape zero nic, and I know Master's down to zero nic, and he's okay with it, and that's the way he likes to vape. In my opinion, I don't think it fucking matters. If I'm vaping, because I've weaned myself down from 24 a year and a half ago, or most of a year and a half ago. I'm down from 24. I'm down to 6, and probably 80% of my vaping is on a tank, a rebuildable tank, and honestly, I don't really like most of the tube mods. I would much rather vape 6 milligram on a mod that my friend made, than some damn tube mod that I picked up and paid $400 for. It's ridiculous. But this is keeping me off of smoking. Why is that wrong?
With a challenge that we spend a week with 18 milligram and above nicotine, and don't take more than a few hits an hour. Start vaping like a proper vapor instead of drinking it like an overgrown school child.
That's a funny shit.
I completely and totally respect this viewer's opinion. He loves the show, but I'm not going to do that because I like the way that I vape. So
and I'm not the guy, blowing big dripper clouds constantly or whatever, but I
the fucking hellfire.
Sean, you almost vape like a Brit. I mean, your nick isn't as high, but you've got like unsullied butthole air holes.
Exactly. I vape 3 nick through a hellfire.
Yeah.
Look at those clouds.
It's amazing. I'm jealous of those clouds.
Look at that cloud.
I think that's the key part for me is I don't.
Someone paused my feed right there.
Did we just lose Brian?
Huh?
I think we did. No, he's
there. I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
I said pause it. It's hard to hold it there.
Use 2 hands, dude.
Vegas hotel Wi-Fi. I think there's an amount that I'm down since I'm down to 3 to 6 milligram nic. There's an amount of just oral fixation, hand to mouth, and breathing out clouds thing that I still enjoy, because I sit in front of a computer constantly all day, and that's what I like to do when I'm in my home office. I put it down for an hour, but then I will pick it up and chain vape for 20 minutes, and then I'll put it down for an hour or whatever. Or sometimes I do it more often.
What's that guy do when he goes to cons? He probably dies. He probably ODs when he goes to cons.
just rolling in.
No, they all be like boring and British as fuck together.
But this ties in exactly what we. First off, okay, Steel Aimless, the guitar pedal mod is not wrong. It's awesome. This ties into exactly what we said a minute ago. Everybody vape the way you fucking want to vape if you're not smoking cigarettes.
Right.
That's it. That's.
If that's a Clearo on an Ego, you go.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you have to have your .2 dripper, then fine. If you're on your
Fuck
tank,
you, angsty.
No, that's fine. my 20 watt tank, rebuildable tank Addy, that's awesome. That's the way I like to vape.
Yep.
Go there.
So one thing real quick, just to remind everybody, contest next week. Bear costume, 30-second video, crowded highway. I love Nanner Bear while dancing.
For sure.
No, we'll dance for Nanner Bear, right?
Yeah, we'll dance for Nanner Bear while dancing.
Yes.
That's for 1 liter or $500 of Nanner Bear. 3 people will win. Send video submissions to theplumesofhazard@gmail.com. Next week we have on Steam Monkey. Do we have any other final closing comments? Thank you, everybody, for watching.
I didn't get to my news piece, but that's okay.
You have something else?
We had a bunch of good stuff, and I don't want to push those. We were trying to keep it tight tonight, by the way.
2 things.
If you got something else, though, say it. If you can do it in like 2 minutes, do it.
I'll just post a link. Let me just post a link.
Well, you should say something about it real quick.
I can put my beard in my mouth.
I thought this was kind of interesting. Somebody put out a link of the top donors to the American Lung Association, the ALA, and guess who's on top? Guess who's one of their top.
Is it Big Tobacco?
It may or may not have been Pfizer. No, it's Big Pharma.
Well, I kind of figured that.
Yeah, totally. Which is awesome, right? I mean, come on, that's. And the problem with this is that is a really large corporation. That is one that the news picks up all the time. That's one that people like my parents. That's like the first thing that they look at is these large associations, because they think that they're all out, being neutral and reporting on real science and stuff. And they're being paid. It's so ridiculous. I don't want to put my tinfoil hat on. I want to take that off and leave that over there. But I do want to say, check out where your stuff's coming from. Your sources of your information is important. I put those links in the thing. That's all I got to say about it.
For the record, it's on the side of a busy street, not in the middle of a busy street.
In the middle of a busy street.
Thank everybody for watching. We are going to go put our tinfoil hats back on. Until next week.
Properly placed. Later, everybody. Oh, that's brilliant.
Get your woman on the floor. Gotta get up and get down.